I think it's very important to talk about mental health, especially for men. I know
Yeah.
that's generally something that we try to hide from that the persona of that macho machismo,
Mhm.
machismo. Just like you gotta keep your head up and everything, but sometimes it's best to like talk about it. And so,
Yeah.
I think for me, I present to everyone as everything that I can. Being honest, being who I am. I think that that's also part of the reason I mentioned it in that video, is that that's part of the reason why I started a YouTube channel. Is
Yeah.
because at that time, because I started my channel middle of January, and I'll talk about it in a video later on of a little sneak peek of like seasonal depression and stuff, man, because
Mhm.
I had it really, really bad. And I'd never had anything else like that before. And once I kind of got out of that, rut,
Yeah.
I really wanted to connect with people. And I have a nice little following on Twitter, and there
Mhm.
was many people who suggested to start a YouTube channel. John from Let's Talk Entertainment Media, I've been following him for a couple years. I developed, just like anyone else who you keep commenting, and you build that relationship with
Yeah.
individuals, content creators. And so just like talking with him for about a year and a half, um, he just encouraged me and other people, as I said, to kind of just dive into YouTube. And so because no matter what, like on Twitter, I was always pushing physical media, the collections, all this, just talking about it in general. And
Right.
so that's what I did, man. And I'm really glad that I took that step, because I thought about it for like a year
Mm.
to even do it. I was very hesitant. I was scared. But then, because you're on a public forum, you don't know how people are going to respond. You of course you get those people who could potentially have negative comments, and then that kind of brings you down. But then but you keep pushing through.
Right.
Luckily for me, I haven't really had that, so which is surprising for me. And you kind of mentioned it earlier in your channel. I'm very fortunate. I honest to God fucking don't know why like people like follow me. I think like I think part of it is because I present myself, at least to viewers and everything, like I'm just a genuine person.
Mhm.
I'm pretty I don't know, I think I'm pretty positive for the most of the time, but I try to be real as possible.
Yeah.
And then my enthusiasm, I know that I've gotten lots of comments about that, whether it's talking about physical media, the horror genre, just whatever the hell I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
I think that kind of just people are gravitated towards that,
Yeah.
which I'm very thankful for. And I'm really surprised like how my channel has grown, which again I'm still surprised, but as of right now I'm pretty damn close to 2000, which is again insane for me. But I'm just very thankful that I took that took that step, because it's a
Yeah.
hard step, right?
Yeah.
Everyone says like that first step is the hardest, and it really
It's
is.
true.
Because you feel awkward, you're just talking
Mhm.
into a camera. But then once you start building a rapport with people, and more and more and more and then uh i i I it took a couple months to get the courage to ask other content creators to do interviews, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do something a little different, which at least like something besides, of course, showing movies and all that type of stuff. And so just watching other people as well, with other people interviewing content creators, I'm like, hey, I want to get to know people as well. So exactly what you're doing with the conversation is you do build that connection, and I'm just very thankful that things are just going pretty well, and I'm doing live stream like panels and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
those are very well received. They're very receptive, and so yeah.
I think it's a combination of things, like you, for me, it wasn't, uh, like, going through something, but it was just getting into following different people because of the pandemic, and then from there, it was like I wanted to start it, but I don't have the right camera, and then it doesn't matter lighting, all that stuff. You just have to start, and it took me 18 months. You said about a year or so for you. It took me 18 months, and I had people encouraging me, all the people that I liked, and I started following them on Instagram and Twitter and all that, and they ended up encouraging me to start. So like when I put out my first video, my thank you list was like all your favorites. Like
Yeah.
I know that you were big on like mid-level Ken and all that. All those people I was thanking because it was like I finally put out one video and that was it. And I was happy to get past that
Hmm.
hurdle. But yeah, for me, it's the conversation itself is about the connection. It's about us having something in common. And not everybody collects. Some people just stream,
Hmm.
some people collect VHS. But the whole thing for me, and part of the reason for my title, is that love of movies. I there's people that collect and never watch the movies, but they love the movies.
Hmm.
So there's still that connection there, just to go back to the word I originally used. So if there's one thing that we all have in common, instead of looking at the differences and the jealousies and who's a clique and who doesn't like the word community and all this stuff, it really is a matter of that connection, which is the love of movies. How I movie might be different than how you movie. We
Hmm.
may not have the same love for the same genre or the same subgenres or whatever the case may be, but we all love the art of movies. And I think that's so important. Let me just check in quickly on the chat here. I saw a couple people hop in. I saw Nate pop in here. What's up, man? Good to see you up in here. We got Adrian James in the check-in. We are doing well so far, so good. We got Jeff joining us. Good
Yeah.
evening. So
What's
happy
going
to
on?
have Frank on the conversation. Yeah, man. This is a conversation that we really wanted to have for a while. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
glad we're doing it here now. People chatting with each other. Corey says, I always remember KB was one of the first people to have me on a live stream when I was first starting out. Yeah, for me, it's not about numbers and all that stuff. It's really about I see you like movies. More than that, I see you love movies. And
Hmm.
I can watch one of your videos and I hear the passion in your voice when talk about Old Boy or whatever it is. And I see your eyes just dance when I said that because I know how much you love and appreciate that movie. So to find people's favorite whatever and just have them talk about it,
Hmm.
it's such a beautiful thing because we could easily talk about a genre or something like that, but when you get to the heart of it, what brings you to loving movies the way you do, or what is that one thing that just stands out for you. And you get to know people's favorites just as you get to know them, and that's part of what I'm doing here. Holland said I created a monster.
Yeah. There's something really quick. I didn't want to interrupt, but like
No, no, you're good.
the just the movies, they're just so damn beautiful. Like, just it's a perfect art form. But then, like, there's that memory that you have with a significant other, or you have like for me, I love movies because of my dad. I've said it many times in my videos.
Mm,
He's the reason why I love movies. I fell in love with the horror genre, martial art films. I mean, just everything. And so it kind of just goes into that, and then I think it's a great icebreaker as well. I think that once you kind of start talking about that, you get to know the person a little bit more. And then also with movies, you take a look around, obviously you see a bunch of damn horror movies, so that like I'm a horror fan and I can talk your ear off.
Right.
about that specific genre. But of course, like we all like different things, like action
You'd
films
be
and like
surprised. There's some
drama and stuff
people
like
that
that.
only focus on one, and I mean, that's you. If you're like that, that's cool, but, you know, there's some people that just like one genre, like, it could be documentaries. They only like documentaries, but,
Hmm.
the majority of people are more well-rounded, like you said, and they might have a favorite genre, but then they kinda delve into other ones as well.
I think you have to be, man. Like you, because there's so many other movies that like dip into other,
Yeah.
subgenres or,
Yes,
genres in general. So like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love movies, man.
me too.
I just love talking about besides sports, of course, but I just love talking about movies, man. Because everyone's so unique with their
Mhm.
different tastes. And to be honest with you, the more that I talk to everyone out there since I started the channel, the better I get as a cinephile, right?
Yeah.
Because you have different tastes, other movies that maybe I've never heard of. So I'm gonna write that movie down and I want to check it out. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
My
just love that.
list is crazy of
Yeah.
recommendations, watches. It's like, you could put something on Letterbox, and then it'll tell you when it's on one of the streaming services you have. Every
Mm,
morning I pop up, and there's something like, I forgot what it was today, but they was like, "So and so is now on Amazon Prime." I was like, "Heck, I forgot I even put that on my wish list." But if you do that, you could get a notification every day once you start to get some recommendations.
mm.
We got Eddie in the house. What's up, my man? Haven't seen and heard from you in a while. Hope everything is well, going well. Dell says, "Loving old boy requires passion." I'm sure we're going to talk about it later. So we'll
Maybe.
definitely, maybe something tells me so. We got Tiana in the house
Hey,
saying,
Tiana.
"Hey." People saying hi to each other. I thought I saw somebody sneak up in here. Who else? Big proponent of exploring every genre. Same, man. You learn something about each genre as you explore it, each subgenre as you explore it. And if you're lucky, you learn something about yourself.
Mhm. Oh, for
We
sure.
we just wrapped up October, and you would have been a perfect guest, being that's when most people associate the horror genre with watching it and everything. Two things I want to talk about, and you could start with this one. I think everyone who has any affinity for the genre has agreed that this has been an excellent year for the movies in general when it comes to horror movies or horror adjacent movies. Like you said, you could have a main genre, but then you could have horror comedy, you could have sci-fi horror, you have all these offshoots of what it is. What's
Mhm.
your overall thoughts on 2024 and the eyes of the horror movie?
Yeah, I love asking this question because I freaking do the damn same thing. I think personally that I think it's been a very good, diverse year for horror.
Mhm.
And I don't know if collectively if it's as good as I want to say 2022. That was a very good year. I think that's when
Mm,
Barbarian and I mean all these other movies that came out. So,
yeah.
however, um, as a whole, I really like a lot of films this year. Um, and I think it's just like a very good topic to talk about for those who love the horror genre because um, a lot of times people kind of talk negatively about the modern horror.
Mhm.
And then of course that's kind of subjective, like what's modern horror and everything. But like, just recent horror within the past few years. Because everyone kind of associates like horror with Blumhouse movies, and of course they haven't put out some of the best movies,
Right.
but they make bank, and that's they make tons of money, man. Like Night and Swim,
PG-13. That's why they
Oh,
market
for
to
sure.
a PG-13 audience, and that means you're getting all the teeny boppers, which means you're getting all the money. Maybe less
Mhm,
than you have in the past, but they still go to the movies, the majority
mhm.
of times, so
Oh,
they
for
know what they're
sure.
doing. Formula.
Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, 2024 has been a really good year. And so I there's some of them have been some of my favorite movies
Mhm.
in a long time. Like
Yeah.
Oddity. I love Oddity.
I
Uh
just finished watching, Our Life in Horror. They were talking about Oddity. I saw it back in April at, I moved it at a film festival, and they showed that, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good," and I was just hoping that he I knew it was gonna be on Shutter, but I hope that it got, like, even a limited theatrical release, and I saw that you went to the movies to see it, which was probably the best way to experience that movie because it has a creepy element that I don't think you can truly recapture just watching it at home because it's atmospheric. You need it
exactly.
all around you.
I was gonna say that. So like I had a work conference and I was like kid and wife free, right? And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna celebrate. And so like for me, that's going out and watching movies at a movie theater. And that's what I did, man. I I because I saw Long Legs, I want
Mhm.
to say like 2 days prior, and and so the theater that I was going to that had Oddity and Long Legs, and I was debating to see Long Legs again because I really liked my first viewing,
Yeah.
and I wanted to see some different stuff. And, I want to see the movie again because there's things that you can't catch on with that movie. But I just really remember um, really liking the trailer and for Oddity because
Mhm.
normally for me I don't see trailers like on TV or anything. I
Right.
only see it if I go to the movie theater because I think what did it for me was Smile. I really like that film, but like Smile trailer like really
Gave
ruined
away.
that movie and so I just stopped watching trailers unless I see it in the movie theater. But I
Mhm.
just really remember like just liking the trailer. And so I saw the movie and then I loved it so much that I saw it again the next day.
Yeah.
And up to that point I only did that once with one other movie and that was Dune part 2 and
So
so, yeah, I mean, I there was just for me anyway, there was just something about Oddity that I just really liked the how atmospheric, how it's like just a straight horror film
mhm.
that's very tense. And
Creepy.
it's very the imagery to that film as well because there's a character a figure that is very present and it just you're just like wondering what's it going to do next. Is it going to do
Yeah.
anything? And
Yeah.
so, like for me, I just love that type of experience.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, man, I that's one of my favorite films of this year
Yeah.
for sure.
What's up, Harrison? Thanks for popping in here and joining us. Good to see you. Oddity had some of the best scares of the year for sure. It definitely did, and I didn't know what to expect because I saw it before even a trailer was made, so it was like you just got like a 3-line synopsis. Like boom, boom, boom. It's like, damn, you get more in a Wikipedia than you get right now. But the way they did it is like the big theater had like what they would consider to be the main attraction, and then the smaller theater had like the secondary or the tertiary kind of film.
Hmm.
And I just decided this year I'm gonna just stay in the big theater, and whatever they show, that's what I'm gonna watch.
Mm,
And I saw that Infested.
mm.
Um, what's the other Spider movie?
Oh, is it Sting?
Sting. Yeah. So all these movies that are now popping up on Shutter and getting limited releases, it was nice to see it ahead of time. So
Mm,
yeah, definitely, it demanded to be seen in the big theater.
hmm.
Nikki in the house saying good evening. Good to
All
see
right.
you.
How's it going, Nikki?
I hate repeating questions that I've asked people before,
Hmm.
but if I didn't have you on last month, I would have asked you this anyway. What is it being a fan? What is it about the horror genre that attracts you to it? I know you say your dad got you into it, but what is it that is so appealing to you about the genre?
Yeah, my wife and I actually just had a conversation about it because she hates scary movies, and she knows me. I
Mhm.
love them, and I think besides taking out the nostalgic factor with my dad and everything, what I personally love about the horror genre is that the feeling that you get while watching the movie, where you don't know what's going to happen next. You sometimes you're just so focused on the movie, at how suspenseful it is, the storyline, the atmosphere, the sound design. The horror genre
Yeah,
has some of the best sound design
I
to
agree.
any genre, besides, like, because everyone knows, like, action films, and of course, like, physical media, like things people always recommend is like action based, of course, right? Because all that boombastic sounds and all that shit. But like for me, like the horror genre has the best sound because
Mhm.
there's that subtleness. It's like
Yeah,
the wind blowing. It's the sound of voices coming around from you, around the speakers. It's the sudden presence of the bang of the bass,
yeah.
right? And so all of a sudden, if you have a Dolby Atmos setup, like the height channels, some of them are pretty effective, and so I love all of that, that feeling, the sound, just all of it just kind of goes together for me. And of course for me, because I'm an 80s kid, I really remember all of that, like Monster Vision, Joe Bob Briggs, like all the like the TNA, all the
Yeah.
cheesiness,
Mhm.
Toxie, and just like everything that that was beautiful about the 80s horror genre. That was great memories. And so just again, but just like all the gore, of course,
Yeah.
and some of it can be very artistic as well. And so
Mhm.
that's part of the beauty. I did a video not too long ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe, just like some horror movies that are the visually stunning, and so the visual aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so I did that as well because, of course, people know about slashers and all this other stuff, but some people
Mhm.
forget about how artistic the horror genre can be, and
Yeah.
which also is a good factor to experience for the viewers. Like, one of my favorite films is The Cell. That's very visually stunning. I simply love it, and I can't wait for the Arrow Video 4K. And so, yeah, man, I love it, man.
The
I
HBO on that better be excellent because
it's
that
Oh my
movie's the
gosh.
colors, the way Tarsem has the whole set design, costume design, the colors and the vividness of the whole thing
Mm,
demands HDR.
it
I
it
just
sh-
got this, and I'm already thinking, "Do I also need the 4K?"
Oh, you need the 4K. I'm telling you, because that Blu-ray, it's okay.
It's like
Uh,
Crimson Peak. That's another one that the colors, the richness of the reds
mhm.
and all that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a great 4K from Arrow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and that's a newer film. So
Mhm.
I guarantee you, because the visual aspect of it, it's gonna look, it should be one of the best 4K transfers of 2025, like right away, because that's
Yeah.
coming out in January. Oh, I can't wait for it, man.
You'll stay up
Yeah,
all
yeah,
night
yeah,
on the
up all
chair.
night. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Lot of
that's
those
right, Dell.
blocky B horror movies.
Oh man.
You mentioned the video on the site, but the one that you did, not too long before that on the sound, all those things that you chose, even the ones that are just like crappy movies, like the Nun movies and the last 2 Halloweens, which I was not too big on, but there's nothing for me. I'm a audiophile too, so it's like there's nothing like subtle sounds that can make the biggest difference in a movie. And I out of all the ones that you mentioned in the video, A Quiet Place, the first one, I remember seeing it in the theater and then saying, "I will never be able to duplicate that at home."
Mhm.
and then I got the 4K, and I was like, "Nope, nope, same thing." But in the theater, it was like a shared experience where it's almost like the movie was commanding us to be still. Like, we didn't want anything to happen to these characters we just met, so
Mhm.
we were still, and it wasn't until the waterfall scene that people started moving, eating their popcorn, getting up, going to the bathroom. Up until then, it was stillness. When a movie can transform you like that with just sound, that is
Mhm.
beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
Exactly. So, just two things, really
Mhm.
quick. One is to go off exactly what you're just saying is that that's one of the beautiful parts about watching a film in the theater is
Yeah.
that how everyone is collective. That's something that you're going to like remember
Mhm.
because exactly what you just said. The whole audience was just captivated and right there on the screen, and they didn't want to fucking move, right? Because they didn't
Yep.
know what the hell's going on next. So,
Nope.
that's one of the beautiful parts that I always encourage people to see movies in the movie theater, even if you have a nice setup at home. It's still worth it just to see the movie in the movie theater. That being said, segue to that is
Mhm.
that sometimes uh, is that you can have a better experience at home as well, depending on the setup and everything else like that. So I know I just said that, but like
Yeah.
that's part of the thing too is that like what I said in some of my videos is that with with the 4K with like the HDR, Dolby Vision, all that visual aspect, and then including like a nice atmospheric sound design at home, it's
Mhm.
literally like watching a film for the first time.
It is.
And
I know I've rewatched movies at home, and if, it got restored or remastered and they included a Dolby Atmos mix, and it was like all of a sudden you went from maybe a 5.1 on a Blu-ray or just a 2.0 on a movie theater experience because it's an older movie, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa,"
mhm,
just by changing that mix. And, I mean, there's some excellent movies, new and old. When
mhm.
they give an old movie a Atmos mix, it's like, "Wow, you just brought new life to this." But, another one that you mentioned, 2049, Blade Runner 2049, I remember I went to see that in Atmos 2, 3 times because I have, like, the AMC pass
Oh,
so you
you're
could
so
see it.
lucky, man. We don't have that here in Oregon.
Well,
There's no
they're based right here in
oh,
Kansas City, so
oh.
I remember I had to go back and keep seeing it because there's the scene where Kay is talking to Joy and they're on the rooftop and he's under the awning, but
Mhm,
she's out in the rain. There's separation of the Atmos speakers, so your rears will make it sound like the rain is hitting an awning,
mhm,
but the ones in front under Anna de Armas just sounds like it's falling straight to the concrete. And that had to be one of the I won't say the earliest, but one of the best early experiences that I had with Dolby Atmos.
mhm. I love it.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
man. I love talking about it because that's just something that we always kind of say is the beauty of sound design. And yeah, man. I just love talking about it. So always promote it.
Dell says it was pretty silent in my theater during Hereditary until the collective gasp after we heard a certain thump.
Yeah.
I think we all were like, and normally, with like a horror movie or something, I don't know why I always think of It Chapter One, when there'd be like a jump scare or something and everybody, and then we
Mhm,
laugh and hee hee ha ha. But after that certain thump, it was
mhm.
like gas and then silence.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, because one, the marketing for that film was great because they didn't really give anything to that movie.
Yeah,
And so,
that was the best. That was the
yeah,
best.
I mentioned how that was one of my favorite movie theater experiences was Hereditary. Um, hey, Brian. Yeah, have a good night, man.
Have a good night.
But yeah, the same thing too is when that scene happens because you're expecting that individual to be there for
Mhm.
the entirety of the film, and then of course that
Yep,
doesn't happen,
yep.
and then everything just kind of everything that transpires. Tony Collette is fucking amazing in that movie.
Oscar
And
worthy.
because I just recently saw the 4K of The Sixth Sense, and I mean she is just a phenomenal actress who definitely got snubbed for an Oscar for Hereditary. But however, the storyline, everything that transpires, and then the craziness to that movie, like all
Mhm.
of us in the movie theater, I just remember that vividly. It was just
Yeah,
like because there was that gasp. You're like, oh
yeah.
my god, and then like everything is just oh gosh, dude.
Too memorable, too
Yeah.
memorable. Um, Talking about research, like I said, you started your channel almost a year ago, and I remember your earlier videos where you're showing, like, your collection. How much would you say your collection has changed since you started the channel in the last year? How much
Uh,
has it grown?
good. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say because right now I think I'm pretty close to 1,000. And I think within that year, I don't know. That's a good question. Um,
You might not wanna say it too loud in case your wife is listening.
oh yeah, what? No. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because I
You've gotten
know
more international, I know that, between the Panasonic hack and just discovering different labels, I'm sure.
yeah, so I had a Panasonic UB 820 about a year. No, maybe 2 years prior to starting the channel. And I know
Mhm.
my wife because, I mentioned how I wanted that and everything, because she's like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Baby, come
$500.
on, man." Yeah, it was freaking expensive and everything, but, I think once you become a more serious, I don't know about collector, but
Cinephile.
just
Cinephile.
yeah, I guess like more
Cinephile.
more serious cinephile. You want like the best quality that you can because I was
Mhm.
always playing my movies on an Xbox,
Yeah,
and
early days.
so yeah, and so once I stepped out of that, I that's
Oh
I
my gosh.
I got into that, and then I started to see more international labels like Second Sight. There were some Arrow videos that were international only
Mhm,
that I got, and so that just kind of just brightened my horizon of different boutique labels, right?
mhm.
And so I was on Reddit because I was like wondering, like, how come this disc isn't playing, blah blah blah. And so I saw like there's a hack, and then of course, going on YouTube, I saw some videos about that as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I think my collection has definitely grown of more international labels, and just I don't know, just hearing other people that I've watched or connected with since being on YouTube, their recommendations, buying from them, and but I do remember like in the beginning, like I was spending a fucking lot of money, man, just because that I think I mean some of us talk about it, but if you're being honest with yourself, especially if you're in this type of community,
Mhm.
a physical media community on YouTube as a content creator, sometimes you
Mhm.
spend a little bit spend a little money maybe a little too soon because you're kind of excited to
Yeah,
show that the products that you have, or there's like maybe there's like a nice release or something, and so anyway, I know that's what I did in the beginning, and I had to like cut myself off a little bit,
yeah.
um, and so because I bought like a bunch of like box sets,
Mhm.
like one like yeah, man, I bought like a ton.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've
well,
seen some of the collection in your videos. I'll tell you, I did 2 things. Last year, in January of last year, I said, I'm not gonna just keep buying things day one. I'm gonna buy things day one that I won't be able to get in 6 weeks.
Mm, mm,
So if it's a steelbook that I want,
mhm,
or, you know, we started having these 4K releases that were steelbook only, those I got day one.
mhm.
So if I wanted, I don't know, Cloverfield on 4K because they just did the Dolby Vision upgrade, because Sony kept doing that with a lot of their releases, I would get that. If I was doing boutique label stuff, 1 order per month. Like, I just
Oh,
put in
wow. Oh, yeah, you talked to me about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah,
put in
just
my
recently.
order for November, and it's, like, 3, 4 titles, so it's not overboard. And then, this year well, last year I started with the Whatnot and the auctions and all that, that really helped. But, what I also did this year was, as I started running out of room, this is,
Mm,
like, where most of my boutique stuff is right here. I
mhm,
said, "I don't really need all these chunky box sets." I love them. I love the limited editions, but I hate art cards. I don't really read half the books.
mm.
Yeah, I'm really just it looks good on the shelf. I'll admit it looks damn good. I wish I could look back there and see Possessor sticking out right now, but
Mhm,
especially with the imports, I just started going the disc only route, the standard editions, because really the stuff that I'm really concerned about is on the disc.
mhm.
So I started cutting back on that, and that saved me a little real estate on the shelves. And those are the 2 things I did between last year and this year. So where I might pay like $30 for import instead of 55, 60, that gets me
Yeah.
2,
Mhm.
and it saved me a lot of room. So you gotta start making adjustments and amends. Otherwise, you start looking at your credit card statements, or you start looking at how much your spreadsheet or your budget it's in the red. If you go that route, it's like, eh, it's too
Mhm.
much going on. Too much going on. So I could do more, but I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially with, the recent, prices
Yeah.
of
The
of,
price hikes.
yeah, dude.
The
Oh my
price hikes.
gosh. Yeah,
This
it's
might be a good
crazy.
time to bring back this question that we got earlier. Thoughts on VHS potentially coming back? We had examples such as Alien Romulus getting an official VHS. And then I think I just put away mine, but you had stuff like Terrifier 2, soon to be Terrifier 3 on VHS. A lot of either boutique or studio releases now just bringing back the VHS as an option
Mhm,
or a
mhm.
specialty. What do you think about that?
Well, 2 things.
Mhm.
Uh, one is that, I think that it's nice for people to have that option, because there is a different aesthetic. There's a different, like when you're watching a VHS, it looks a little bit, more run down. And for some movies, at least visual wise, it kind of like it can help, right? For like some of like the horror movies,
Yeah.
without a doubt. However, if I'm being fucking honest, KB, man, if you grew up around that damn time, I hated VHS, man.
The
Like,
same
if I'm
way.
being real, man, dude, if
You
you
don't
grew up
know, man.
around
I
that
made that
damn
jump
time,
from VHS to DVD.
yeah,
The
so
first
damn fast.
the first thing I bought was Wizard of Oz because I'm like, I need to convince my wife that this is worth the investment because I'm not going back. The kids
Dude,
had the VHS
yeah.
down in the basement. I'm not going back to VHS if I could stick with DVD. And she was like, "Wow, this looks great." I was like, "Isn't DVD great?"
Right, 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 right,
And
yeah.
then DVD became Blu-ray, Blu-ray became 4K, 4K became a reason, "Oh, you can't watch those movies on this big screen, you need to just keep buying 4Ks," you know?
Mhm.
"Oh, you can't watch streaming, ugh, it's
Yeah.
all pixelated and whatnot, I gotta get the 4K of that." So, yeah, I just there are certain movies that I still wanna watch it old school, like, I'm getting Blair Witch, that's one of the movies I just ordered. The
Second
second
sight?
sight
Yep.
because, speaking to Eduardo Sanchez about it and then actually seeing it come out is like a big deal to me, but,
Mm.
um, I still have my DVD, and I still go back to that when I wanna watch it. I just take it upstairs and throw it in my PS3 that I still have with my
Mhm.
1080p TV, and I watch it that way. You know, a little upscaling, but it's not gonna look good on a 83-inch LG. You know, oh, yeah, we're OLED brothers. So, I forgot about that too.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, pristine 4K, but you probably still wanna watch it the old way, but
Yeah,
not
I
everything.
love that. Yeah. Like, it looks really good, man. Like, just, how the grindhouse look
Mhm.
to it, and
Yeah,
I love it because there's even some modern movies that do that. One of the movies that I really like that's fucking weird, but I do like it, and I did a review for it, was, Eight Eyes. It's a Vinegar Syndrome, release. It's by, one of the producers from, Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In.
yeah,
He did a movie, and that's the
mm,
movie is Eight Eyes, and I love the grindhouse look to it, and
yeah,
so I think for some movies it can really capture it. But anyway, yeah. For some of the older movies and everything, like VHS can still look pretty good, especially
yeah.
if you have like the old tube TV. But again, I hated those fucking old ass TVs. They were so damn heavy. Like
Yep,
I
oh my
mean,
gosh,
again,
2 people to carry it,
oh
I
my
had an old
god.
school Toshiba, it was heavy as hell.
Yeah. So, I understand, like, people's, nostalgic, feeling or for even, like, the younger people, because on Twitter,
Yeah,
there's people who younger, um, people who are just digging, into that type of,
yeah, it adds to the feeling of
yeah.
nostalgia too,
Yeah.
for a lot of people. Shout out to Lisa from Horror Macaroni, that's my girl, man, she's big on the
Yeah.
VHS. AJ
Yeah.
the Cinephile is another one, big on the VHS as well, so
Yeah.
trying to get her on. Dell was saying the jump from VHS to DVD was
Mhm.
massive, if for no other reason than not having to adjust tracking again. It's so true. It's so
Dude.
true, and I would say from DVD to Blu-ray was also the last big jump. I don't think Blu-ray to 4K, we could be snobbish and say we see the difference, we hear the difference. It's true, but, um, yeah, I don't think it's as massive a jump as VHS to DVD was.
I would say is that for modern movies, there's not that much of a difference. However, if it's an old movie,
Mhm.
like the movie that you talked about it earlier, you were talking about a subject earlier, but like the movie that got me into 4K when I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, was The Shining.
Yeah.
That was one of my first movies on 4K, and I
Mhm.
absolutely could not believe this film that was, like 50 years old looked incredible, and
It's
it
true.
still is one of the best 4K transfers, but it looked like you could, like, touch
Yeah.
that scenery, and
4K got me
oh my
watching
gosh.
Westerns, man. The other day, my wife came down and I was watching High Noon, and she's like, "What is this?" She's like, "I see Grace Kelly, so I know why you're watching it, but what is this?" And I said, "Oh, it's High Noon." Oh, yeah, me and Grace Kelly, big time. But, she's like, "This movie looks so good," and I still remember every July 4th, we watched Jaws, and she's like, "This has to be one of your best looking 4Ks." I was like, "They took their time with this." Same thing with Godfather,
Mhm.
they took their time with that 4K, and older movies like that, you could see the difference. It's a Wonderful Life. Um, New podcast for everyone to follow. Perf Damage.
Mm.
Um, it's a couple. The wife works for Paramount. She does film restoration. Husband works. I think he's on Jimmy Kimmel. He's a camera utility guy.
Was she
But
on Serial at Midnight?
yes, yes,
Yes,
he's
her
had her on.
interview, that was a good interview,
That was
man.
a damn good interview, but,
Yeah,
I'm trying to get them on the conversation soon.
that'd be
But,
fun.
she just worked on To Catch a Thief. I'm a big Hitchcock fan, so and also White Christmas, which just came out. So,
Mhm.
movies like that, you could see the difference for sure. Harrison says, "I collect VHS. They're cool and all, but man, do they age horribly." Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't pull out some of those. My kids are in their 20s. We have VHS tapes still from when they were, babies. We can't watch those now.
You know what the
So,
funny thing is that my wife, she doesn't like physical like to have the movies
yeah,
physically.
yeah, yeah.
However, she still has her old Disney
Clamshells.
VHS clamshell movies, and
Yeah.
those for her are very sentimental. But
Yeah.
like everything else, like she doesn't care. She rather
Yeah.
choose streaming. But like, and again, there's nothing wrong with streaming. But like for her, it was like that sentimental value was just those clamshell VHSs, man.
We
Oh.
got Kal-El in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Let's see. Prince had a question. We're gonna come back to a serotonin question. Glad you enjoyed my double feature. Yeah. He had friend requests, which scared the crap out of him, and also Countdown. So two of
Hmm.
those examples of PG-13 horror movies that were
Hmm.
actually pretty good. He wants to
Okay.
know if you were a gamer and what's your video game nostalgia if you were.
Yeah, well, of course yes, I am definitely a gamer. Dude, I have fond memories of when I was a kid and my dad gave me the choice of picking a Game Boy or the NES, and I went with the NES,
Good choice.
and so but yeah, I remember like as a kid moving as fast as my little feet could with the track, the old track and field
Mhm.
game with the big ass pad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like those were some damn good times. And so anyway, yeah, I'm definitely a gamer. I've been actually playing. And, I thought about doing just because life just moved on so damn fast, but I wanted to do last month horror video games
Mhm.
because that's of course that's me. Like I just love that those type of video games because right now I'm playing Silent Hill 2
Ooh.
and Silent. If you ever played those games, I they're very good, man. They're not like Resident Evil. They're very atmospheric, and some of them can like creep you the crap out. And
Especially if you have a nice sound system, because it's
yeah,
all
man.
around you.
And because the Silent Hill 2, the new one of the PS5, it has Dolby Atmos. And so yeah, exactly. And so yeah, man, like I love like right now cuz I wanted to talk about like Alan Wake 2, that's a great game. Dead Space, they remastered that one. I
Yeah.
mean, Prince, don't get me started, man. Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
I
it's
love
not
talking
Frank's
about it.
movie and reviews, it's media and reviews, so you should definitely still do it. 'Tis the season, still is. Hey,
Mhm.
let's get into these 5 takes, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
your answer for Prince is gonna be somewhere in there. So, the 5 takes, the 5 questions we ask at the end of every conversation. We're gonna start it off like we always do. We're back to the regular questions. We kinda remix it for October, but we're back to the regular questions. Number 1, name the film that made you fall in love with the movies.
I uh am doing two. I'm cheating. KB, I'm cheating, man. So
Ah.
one is when I was a young kid, I simply was mesmerized with Beetlejuice. Um I just loved everything about it, man. I don't know. And I also remember the cartoon series as
Yes,
well.
the animated
and,
series.
and so that's the I and this movie is still one of my favorites. I talked about it recently how the fond memories I had watching this film and just experiencing the craziness, the kind of gothic uh feel that Tim Burton had in this film, and like the sandworm. I mean, I thought, of course, like when I was younger, like Winona Ryder was attractive, and so that, of course, that led me to it as well. And but just recently showing this movie to my girls, and they absolutely loved it. However, KB, I got one of the biggest mean stone cold stares from my wife, man, because I saw this uh the last time I saw this movie prior to this year was when the 4K first was released, right? So it's
Mhm.
been a few years. So I saw it again with my kids, and I forgot that there's a couple cussing, a couple curse words, and of course the girls, because we're watching
Mhm.
it as a family, and my wife just goes, "Mm," and
They
and I
give you
was
that
like,
look?
Yeah, man. Oh, KB, dude. I
You
got
know the look.
multiple looks, man. I was like, oh shit.
I'm gonna hear about this later.
Oh, dude, it was. But the funny thing is, man, because my girls are 7, and so, but they absolutely loved Beetlejuice,
Aw,
and they kept talking about it, and they know that Beetlejuice just was released, and
yeah,
they know that Dada watches and collects movies, and so they've been asking me just a couple days ago when I'm going to get Beetlejuice, and so
next month.
yeah. Oh man, I just love it. So this is the movie that, like, when I was younger, made me fall in love with watching movies.
That's
Um
cool.
but as an adult, when I actually started to understand movies, Pulp Fiction,
Hmm.
for me, that's what really did it. One is because I love music.
Yeah,
This soundtrack
native
is
rock.
one of the best soundtracks. How Quentin uh drops the music and certain scenes, some of the situations that happen in this film, the acting in this film is just phenomenal. And so once I became a serious cinephile, just like watching movies, this is what did it for me, man. I just simply love Pulp Fiction. Oh my goodness, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's see. Number 2, name 5 of your favorite films.
Well, I am going to say my. I guess I'll go off with earlier. I think it was Prince who said that. But yeah, Old Boy, top 5. This is the movie that got me into Asian films. Uh, Once
Good
I
one.
saw this film, I was blown away of how an international film had such a phenomenal storyline, the plot twist that happened, the acting in this film, just like, because I saw this movie, I want to say like a year after it came out, but I was like 20, 21, 22
Mhm.
when I first saw it, and I just couldn't believe it. And so I just dived into Asian movies and specifically Asian horror films. But like, it was incredible. And I love the trilogy, the Vengeance trilogy.
Yeah,
So this is part of the trilogy. This is number 2, FYI, of the trilogy. Um, One of the ones that I was going to mention, I think maybe this is the one that Prince was talking about with the nostalgia. I think I, I forgot, but like, is the Matrix.
nice.
Matrix is one of my top favorite films of all time. This is the film, no matter what, no matter how many damn times I've seen this film, I get giddy about this film. I love the action. I love the CGI. Everything just like was so mind blowing. This to me was one of the best theater experiences because if I'm being honest, KB, I skipped school. I skipped second half of one of my high school days. Uh, and I skipped school and I saw this movie. I was like one of, I think maybe there was a second person there, but so hardly anyone was there,
Mhm.
and I was blown away what the fuck I saw because it was visually stunning. I love the again, like the kind of gothic feel, the aesthetic feel of the film. Trinity,
Mhm.
of course, friggin' hot, and Lawrence Fishburne, an amazing actor. Keanu, gave him another life as an actor,
So true.
and but it. If we're being honest, man, it's the action. It's the this Oh, it's so amazing. I was such a damn nerd for this film. I had the VHS. So in my room, I had the combo of a TV and the VHS. And what I used to do, I used to have an alarm, and it would play certain scenes, like the dojo scene on top of the roof. Like I would wake up to that, man. I was such a nerd for this film. Like
I
that
love it.
yeah. So
I
I'm
love
very
it.
passionate about this film. Of course, getting it on 4K, the Dolby Atmos. Oh my god, I
Yeah.
giddy. I'm giddy about it, man. Oh, love it.
Dell says,
Um,
"It was me talking about Old Boy. Scarred me for life, but I can't get enough of it. All one of my all-time favorites."
hell yeah, Dell. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
For
Oh my
those
goodness.
unaware, Frank is talking about the trilogy of Vengeance, 3
Mhm.
separate films connected only by theme, so you can watch them in any order. Yes, and Arrow has a nice little box set with all 3 of them in it.
Yeah, I got it up there, man. It's great. It's got like an elevator. You open it up, but yeah, it's Sympathy, Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, and Lady Vengeance.
Yep,
Those are the movies. Simply love it. KB, man, I can go on about these damn things.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. My favorite movie of all time, and I know this surprised some of my viewers because I just talk about horror genre and blah blah blah. But you know, I'm honest, man. My favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas. This is my favorite movie. It is so damn good, man. Every character, the acting, it just is so captivating. Your eyes are just glued. Joe Pesci, this man is freaking like very intimidating.
Funny how.
Yeah, kind do I amuse you? I mean, just and Robert De Niro, he is amazing in this film. And of course, I've said it recently, man. Ray Liotta, I think, is one of the most underrated, underappreciated actors of all time.
R.I.P.
Dude, he is simply amazing in this film. He's also really good in Narc as well, man. If you
Yes,
haven't seen
another
Narc,
Arrow release.
holy smokes, man. He is phenomenal in that movie. But Goodfellas, Martin Scorsese, the score to this film, I love how it blends in, or at least, you know, this tells about the 50s of him growing up and everything that goes on, transpires in the film, all the tense scenes towards the end of the movie.
Mhm.
Ray Liotta, I mean, he's coked out. I mean, just the acting in this film. And I love like the jail scene of even like them making some big ass meals, Italian
Mhm.
meals in the jail cell. I mean, I just love it. And you know what? I fucking believe it. Like that's what happened because the
Yeah,
mafia, that's how it was, man. They had
that's
control
a real story. I mean,
of Las Vegas and everything, man.
that's a real story.
Yeah.
And that film is my answer to number 1. That is a movie that made me fall in love with the movies. Like,
Really?
to elevate myself from just the average movie watcher, something to do, whatever, to like, no, I really am into movies and film and how it's put together and
Mhm.
got me to go to film school. It was that movie.
Also, really quick, because of this film,
Yeah.
it made me watch, Raging Bull.
Another great Scorsese movie.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about, movies is another gateway of, like, you
Yeah.
really love this film, "Hey, look at this film." Oh, you know, Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci were in one of the best fucking movies of all time, you know, Raging Bull, and the chemistry that they have together is simply amazing. I mean, it's iconic.
Especially
Uh,
Scorsese movies, because if you
oh my
listen
gosh.
I say if you listen to him do a 5-minute interview, you'll leave with 20 movies to watch.
Did you pick up, I simply love it, is,
Bringing Out the Dead?
Bringing Out the Dead from Paramount Pictures? Yeah.
I had it on DVD for the longest time, and last year I went through and either bought or upgraded every Scorsese movie, and it was really good because you could see it right behind there. I have the imprint Films of Faith with 3 of his movies in it,
Oh,
and then a whole bunch of movies got to 4K, so yeah, I I think right now I'm just missing no, I'm not missing any because I got the DVD of Alice somewhere up there. So I
okay.
have
I
the
haven't seen that
complete
one.
Scorsese filmography.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
including some shorts from the Criterion shorts. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
That's my
but I
man.
think like Bringing Out the Dead is one of his most unappreciated films, man.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my
people don't know
god.
about it. People don't know about it.
And Ving Rhames, I love Ving Rhames in that film. Holy shit, man! When they are
Yeah,
reviving, resuscitating the guy in the club, and he is just so, just god holy, and his acting is just phenomenal, and his character is so
mhm.
funny and memorable. Oh my goodness, man,
Thank you,
so
Prince.
damn good.
Dell
Yeah.
says, "Now Goodfellas? Forget kindred spirits, we might be related."
Hell yeah.
Ray Liotta and Unlawful Entry. Great one, Jeff, great one.
Mm.
And low key, you could laugh at me at this, Ray Liotta's cameo in the B movie. Don't fight me on it. Just
Oh,
watch it again.
the animated movie.
Yeah? Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
I have to rewatch that, man. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Oh man.
haven't seen Guns Akimbo yet. No, I have not.
Oh,
I have not. I gotta check that out. It's on
dude,
my list.
is that the one? It's Oh god, that has one of the funniest beginnings of a film. Oh god, that's the guy from, isn't the Harry Potter? Isn't he in the beginning of that film? Oh
If
my
you know, put it in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I think if that's the film that has one of the beginning of the film where like one of the main characters punches like a
Oh, yeah,
girl,
yeah, yeah.
but
I see
yeah,
him
Dan
now.
Radcliffe. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god, the
I see it.
opening is so funny to that film. Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Haven't seen Bringing Out the Dead. It's good. Pick up that, Paramount Presents 4K. It's really good.
Mm,
Um, yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, Samara
okay,
Weaving.
I thought so,
Nice.
man.
I got it on the
So
list.
what is that? Is that number three? So
I
number
believe so.
three. Number two is, or sorry, my other one is going to be, this is my favorite horror film of all time. And if y'all have watched my channel, you already know what the hell I'm talking about. But this is Candyman. Candyman is my favorite horror film. Candyman is my favorite horror villain of all time. I love the backstory of this film. I love the imagery to this film. I love Tony Todd in this film, his acting, his presence, his
Shakespearean actor,
voice.
man.
Dude, he is phenomenal as Candyman. And I loved it. I remember when I was a kid, I my mom, I want to say my mom or my uncle or someone was watching this movie downstairs, but I remember like hearing like the film. I didn't see it, but I was hearing it and I was like, what the hell's happening? So I snuck downstairs and I remember seeing a little bits and pieces of this film and I was like, oh my God. But then seeing it when I was older and then understanding like the
Yeah,
actual storyline, what the hell, the pain and the struggle, and there's so many different layers to this film, not just the racial part, but
mhm.
everything of Cribini, oh my goodness, Ca- Cabana Green, I want to say Chicago, the
Yeah, the
um
project.
yeah, I mean, just like literally, there's so many different layers to this film that still holds today, holds true today.
Yeah.
And so the economics status and everything, man, I just love it. I love this film.
I'm
So,
surprised Dell didn't say that for the longest time I had not watched this film, and finally, when he started his movie swap, I had to watch that, and he watched the remake of, um, Dawn of the Dead, but
oh,
I
okay,
finally
Tom
watched
Savini's, yeah.
yeah, but, yeah,
Oh no,
seems
Dawn
like
of the Dead. That's
that's Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm thinking
Yeah,
of Night of the Living Dead. That's Tom Savini's remake on that one.
yeah,
So my
Cabrini Green.
Yeah, thank you, Cabrini Green. Thank you. My last one is, you know what? I was a toss up, but I'm gonna go because it was between Frailty and Audition. So those
Ooh,
would be, I'm those I have to mention this because this one, Frailty. I think is one of the movies that still people just don't know, even though it's got Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton. I think this is Bill Paxton's uh, best role,
Yeah,
without a doubt, and he is
yeah,
one of the best actors. Every movie that he's in, he's so captivating. But in this film, and especially now being a dad, like, oh my god, like just the it's so good, man. And there's a twist in this film. Oh my goodness, man. So Frailty, guys,
so good,
see this film,
so
Frailty,
good.
and yeah, and then Audition. For me, this is one of the best horror films, and this has one of the best villains. She's so damn sweet, but this girl is freaking lethal. And I just love it, man. There is some great imagery as well to this film. There's some WTF moments as well.
Mhm.
And this is another film that I just saw and I needed to watch more Korean, Japanese horror films. And
Yeah.
so this is a masterpiece to me of a film. So
What release is that you're holding up there?
this is an Umbrella Entertainment release. Yeah, there was only, I want to say, 500 made.
Right.
And I got this on eBay, so I paid a little bit of a price because I missed out on it when it originally came out. But yeah, this is like this is a perfect release for this film. There's a nice little book to it as well. But yeah, I just love it, man. Yeah,
Yeah. Frailty is
see
worth
Frailty,
checking
man,
out.
Dell.
Frailty is worth checking out for sure.
Yeah,
Alright, number 3. Name a popular or classic movie that everybody loves, but you're not too particular on.
I hate Grease, man. That is my I hate Grease. Everyone that I know loves Grease, and I hate it. I don't
Grease,
like
Grease 2, or both?
say it again?
Grease, Grease 2, or both?
I've never seen Grease 2. I just know Grease. And so
What year were you born?
I was born in 83.
Okay, so you missed it.
Yeah. Mm. Dude, I'm not a big musical fan.
Mhm.
But I do like what there's a couple musicals that I do like one of them is not like a typical musical. It's Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yeah.
I love that film. I love the music in that, but it has a really good storyline and
Mhm.
everything else in that. But like anyway, Grease, I don't like it, man. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
That's pure nostalgia for me, and it's probably why I've tried to get into Grease too, but there's no nostalgia for me, so the
Also,
comparison between the 2.
another one that my buddy Jeff Man 316 I was just talking with him on his live stream, and one of them because he kind of brought up the same kind of question to his viewers, and I mentioned this is the one that like I had other people saying like what the hell, Frank, is I think the original National Lampoon's Vacation is kind of overrated. uh and so I love the Christmas Vacation
Christmas is better than the original, I
is
think.
one of my favorite films. I literally watch that film twice, 2 times a year, during Christmas season. Like, I watch it
Yeah, yeah.
twice. My wife and I, we watch it. I usually watch it in the beginning of the month, and then we always watch it on Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
We watch The Ref, because I'm gonna do, of course, I'm on YouTube now. I'm gonna do a damn video, Christmas video,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
one of horror movies, but then also just other Chr- Christmas traditional movies or whatever that I normally watch. But The Ref, we started that, and so yeah, we always have like a pizza and watch The Ref. Oh, I'm so sorry. The Ref we watch on Thanksgiving, or sorry, The Ref we watch on Christmas Eve. Christmas Vacation we watched on the 23rd, and A Christmas Story we watch on Christmas Day. So those are the three main movies.
Tradition.
Yeah, we had the Ref is because we had my at the time my family, she came over. It's like the beginning of our relationship,
Mhm.
and my it was just a terrible dinner. It was a terrible meal, man. We didn't really eat anything, and it was late, and we're like, man, we're still damn hungry. And so we
We
got
got a
some
pizza.
pizza. We got pizza, and we watched The Ref, and then we literally had just made it a tradition every year for the past, I think, 11 11 years. We've been
Aw,
together since 2012, I want to say, and oh no, we've been together since 2009. Been married on 2012, but like,
mhm,
but yeah, I mean, we've had that tradition for such a long time, man. Oh
that's
my
good,
goodness. So
that's
yeah,
good.
but yeah, Christmas, sorry, National Lampoon's Vacation. I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of that film, man.
I just watched that the other day. You know, I do that, Wheel of Names roulette, and my daughters were here, and they decided to hang out with us, and I forgot what it was. Oh, my youngest didn't wanna watch Twister, and I had that on the wheel, and that ticked right over. It was Twister and then Vacation, and it ticked right over. It was about to be Twister, and I'm like, "I didn't choose it, it's the universe deciding." And it clicked over to Vacation, and the 4 of us sat down and watched it. We
Hmm.
laughed here and there, it's still funny.
Hmm.
Dell says, "I showed Audition to my daughter last year, and she just shrugged and said it's okay."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely not for no
no
hesitation agrees.
hesitation
Yeah,
on Grease.
dude. Yeah.
I'll let the Grease slander slide only because you love Old Boy. He's too young, Dell. He's too young.
uh,
He was born 5 years after the phenomenon.
mm.
We had, like, program books, we had trading cards.
What? Really?
It was huge. It was like the movie of the summer. I
Oh.
know personally as a kid, I went from playing Saturday Night Fever soundtrack
Mm.
to playing Grease soundtrack. 'Cause I ran that Saturday Night Fever soundtrack for 2 solid years.
Dude, I love Saturday Night Fever. I think that movie really kind of captures, at least for me at that time in high school, like
Mhm,
me as a male, just like parents, I was living with my dad. I was like, dad, blah, blah, blah. And just
mhm,
like, just wanting to get away, being my own man. And then just like, man, the disco music. Oh man, dude, it was like a two for me at two CDs. And then I think there was like
mhm.
another one as well. But like, yeah, dude, I love Saturday Night Fever, man. Love it.
Yeah. Love A Christmas Story, still don't have a Red Ryder BB gun.
Shut your eye out. Yeah.
Have you seen The Raid?
Yes, yes, sir. I love it.
Both of them, Raid and Raid Redemption.
I yeah, I have the 4K Steelbook of Sony Pictures, and then I have the Umbrella Entertainment collection, the little oh, it's not little, it's a big
Yeah, the big
bo-
box set.
box set of it as well. So good, man. One of
Not
the best.
hopelessly devoted to Grease, I see.
No,
Alright,
man.
let's finish this stop and we can land this plane. Everybody's other favorite question, name a critically hated movie that you love.
So I I don't know exactly if this is like, yeah, I guess it kind of answers. I don't know, man. I just know that most people hate. So I guess when I read this question, went directly to Battleship. I know.
Yeah,
So most
good
people
choice.
hate this film. I really love this film, and
Okay,
I
let's clarify. Did you like the sound? Did you like the visuals? Or did you like the story and the acting?
uh I like all of it. First of all,
Really?
I really like the cheesy, like, just absurd
Mhm,
storyline. I love how they even brought back the retirees. I love the whole damn scene leading up to it, what happens with them. Just er I love that part. I even like the part I love the part of, God, what's his name? Is it Taylor? Yeah, Taylor's character,
mhm.
when he tries to get that burrito the Quickie Mart,
You are
um
serious.
dude, I'm telling you, man, I love it. I just love it. I mean, freaking God, what's her name? Oh gosh.
Rihanna?
Brooklyn Decker. She
Oh.
is
Oh,
so
no,
damn,
Brooklyn, yeah.
dude, she is eye candy. And but I love Rihanna in this film. I love her character. She is funny. She
Mhm.
is a great character. They're not sexualizing her or anything.
Nope.
It's she is a great character in this film. I literally love everything about this film. Oh, dude, I even love the stupid like what they was it the World Cups like soccer like that even how dumb that is when he gets hit with a hard foul and he kicks it because they made it all epic leading up to it like he's going to score the damn goal and then of course he just shanks it, goes like 50 yards or whatever, just out, not even close to the damn goal. Dude, I and of course the alien invasion, and then of course the if we're talking about like the 4K itself, like this has DTX, man.
Mm.
This is a good DTSX mix. Uh and the
That's the only
4K.
redeeming thing I have to say about it. It sounds
Oh, dude. I'm telling you, man, I love Battleship. My wife and I, we watch this silly ass movie every damn uh during every July. We
Mhm.
watch this film. Um
That's funny.
yeah, dude. That is like my go-to is that one, man.
Definitely a dub. Can't go can't go with you on Battleship, AKA
Yeah,
Transformers
no, it
Light.
is. It totally do, dude. Tell it's such a dumbass movie, dude. It's so bad, but I love it. I love like the cheesy sci-fi alien dumb storyline. I love it all, man. I love it.
Oh, Brooklyn Decker might be pretty, but shouldn't be in a middle school play, let alone a movie. Yeah, she's not gonna win any thespian awards, that's for sure. Jeff wants to know if you like biopics.
That's something that I do need to get more into. I, so I'm pretty green on that.
Mm.
So definitely open to any recommendations on that type of stuff.
Didn't you
Um,
say you like Rocket Man?
um, no,
No.
not me. I haven't seen Rocket Man. I know that's the guy who also um he's
In
in
Kingsman.
the Kingsman, and because I'm a father, he's Johnny, the gorilla from Seeing and Sing 2. So
Mm.
that's how I originally know him as a father from that.
Oh, man. Ah, okay. Before we land this plane, I do have one last question, but I want to take a moment out to thank you. This was fun.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
me to stay up late. This is a hard week for me. Like that first 2 weeks after the time change, I'm looking around, I'm like, "Man, it's so late," and I look up and it's like 7:15. I'm like, "Ee, ee,
Dude, I was tired at 6.
ooh."
I was like, "Oh my god, dude, yeah."
Wow.
I know that feeling.
So, definitely, if you could keep me up, I should thank you for that. Thank you for, doing this. It definitely was a good time. We had a good conversation. Um, thank you for everyone who's in the chat still going, everyone lurking, we see you. Thank you. But,
Yeah.
before we land this plane, we're gonna go to the last question, which is number 5. Now that you've been on the conversation, number 5, who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, of course, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. What was supposed to happen last month, but unfortunately
Mhm.
didn't happen. But yeah, man, I love just connecting with other people, and so yeah, man, it's been a blast. So yeah, man, just let me know any time
Same.
to be back. My answer to this is the person who got me into being a content creator. So it's going to be John from Let's Talk Entertainment and Media.
How did I know?
Yeah, man. He's a great guy, man. And he's just so friendly. He's very helpful. And yeah, man, he's very supportive, and he's very knowledgeable. He knows a lot more of like the criterion of just the more of the dramatic movies than me. So
Mm.
he's definitely a cinephile. He's very knowledgeable, man. And so there's other movies that he recommends to me. Like I never saw like The Stepfather, and so he highly recommended that. I mean, of course, there's other movies that he recommended, but yeah, he's a great guy, and I think he would be a fun guest on this show. So, and he
Yeah,
has a great sense of humor, and for me, you know, I and he's laid back too. So it's kind
yeah.
of like me, man. So yeah.
You're the second person who recommended, and just as I was about to say it, Jeff pops in here and says, "I gave KB the same recommendation last year on the same show. John is a
Oh,
great
what?
guy."
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
definitely gonna try to have him on. You could tell him, "Hey, KB's gonna be reaching out to you," so
Yeah.
definitely. And
He's on East Coast time, so
oh, okay.
just yeah.
That makes it a little earlier for me. And Dell pops in with a couple biopic recommendations,
Mm,
all of which I could agree with. Malcolm
so
X, Walk the Line, good one.
mhm.
Ray, I think Ray is getting a 4K announcement soon. That's a rumor.
Yeah, yeah, Jamie Foxx. So I've seen Malcolm X, Walk the Line, very
What's
good
Love Got to
movie.
Do with It? That needs an upgrade. Che,
I haven't seen that
that's
one.
a big Criterion box set.
Okay. Rustin.
Rustin,
I've
that's
never
on Netflix.
What is that? I don't
It
know that one.
it's a '60s biopic. I forget, Coleman Domingo plays this guy. Look it up on Netflix.
Hmm.
You'll get the
Okay.
synopsis. I, Tonya, of course,
Mhm.
Margot Robbie, Man on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Moon.
yeah.
I still haven't cracked open that keynote of that.
Oh,
That
with
yeah, Jim Carrey
Yeah,
playing
Jim
and
Carrey, yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. Solid list for sure. Definitely. All right, man. I wanna thank you once again for coming on. Um, tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, yeah, of course, right down there, Frank's Media and Reviews. Just talk about physical media, the horror genre. I do interviews as well on my channel. And I do like live stream panels and everything, and that's been kicking off, and that's been doing very well and very well received, and I love doing it. I love this different type of formats
Mhm.
of the live streams, and so I can understand why some people just solely do this. Because it's really nice, man.
Yeah,
Again, you're getting to know the person, having a
I love
conversation,
it.
and so yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, more than
So
anything, I love this, but,
mhm.
it's good to have variety, but this is what I enjoy the most, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to like dip into like all the different facets, I guess,
Mhm.
of being a YouTube creator.
Yeah, keep doing your
So
thing, man,
yeah.
because you are killing the game, so keep doing it.
Oh, thank you. I definitely appreciate it, and of course, I appreciate everyone who's joined tonight. And yeah, man. Thank you, KB, for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Everyone have a good night. As I always say, go watch a movie. Take care.